Hey, and welcome there to April 20th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. It's a video that I make every morning, not long after waking up. It's really the first thing I do after, sorting myself out. And I do it every day to remind myself of my life objectives and my principles and to see how I'm doing applying them. I really never miss a day. I haven't missed a day since 2018 when I started doing this. It changes over time. When I first started doing this, I had 5 things that I was thinking about. Now I've got 37, so it's grown. It's been at 37 for a long time now, maybe half a year, something like that. So it doesn't change much, but it does change a little bit now. I switch things around, I move them around. Also, sometimes I don't do this in a categorically numerative way. I don't. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do it that way. I say, okay, here. Well, I always do it categorically, but I don't always enumerate them. I don't say 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I just do it for more free form. It's more of a challenge to do it that way because you don't have the reminder of what you just did and to help remember what's coming. It's a little harder. It becomes a little more free form that way. It's kind of a challenge. Anyway, enough of a preamble. How did I sleep last night? If you've seen this before, I struggle staying asleep. I tend to wake up before the alarm, about an hour or so before. It's been like this for well over a year now. A year ago, more, around, I was also waking up in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., and staying awake for hours. I'm not doing that lately, but last night I did. I was up at 2 a.m., just wide awake. I was like, oh, well, hello, darkness, my old friend. I haven't seen you for a while. I was trying to think, why did I do that? Because I didn't go to bed any earlier. Maybe 15 minutes earlier than usual. Anyway, I'm chipper and I'm happy because I tried something that worked. In the life of Samuel Johnson, two or 3 days ago, I read how Johnson was describing this very problem, waking up in the middle of the night, thinking to a thinking mind. And Boswell, his biographer and friend, asked him, what do you do about it? Johnson said, don't think the thoughts, whatever the thoughts are waking you up, but instead pick up a book. Which I thought that was a bad idea, because my experience has been that when I get up and turn on the light and try to do something, then that clobbers me for good. I'm finished the next day. Yeah, it totally upsets my sleep pattern. Well, I thought I'll give it a try. So I came in here, I turned just this one light on above my head, which is sufficient for reading. Everything else was dark. It was kind of nice. And I had the window open so I could hear the night sounds outside. And I read 2 pages of my book. Dr. Johnson and Boswell talking about the propriety of the relations between husbands and wives. It was an interesting little read. And then I closed up the book after 2 pages. I went back to bed, laid my head down, and within minutes I was asleep. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. It worked. It didn't even take very much. And it got me 20% through my daily reading quota of 10 pages. Did that help me sleep till the alarm? No. I still woke up at 4. And there was no help in that. I could have got up, but that would have defeated, it would have been in vain to get up to try to, tease myself to sleep for another half hour. I didn't. I just laid there. So, I don't even know why. Work is actually going good right now. It's turned to the corner. It's still challenging. It's work, but the real challenges that I was facing a week ago or 2 weeks ago have kind of There are volcanoes that I've sailed past already. I can still hear them rumbling and smoking, but I think I'm kind of past them. Otherwise, yesterday was a good day, another productive day, another solid day of work. Although I did get my 2 20-minute breaks in. I even did my yoga before the clock started. I start work at 7:30. I did my yoga from 7 o'clock to 7:20, and I had just 10 minutes left to change my clothes and get started at work. And then I took a break in the morning and another break in the afternoon. I had an hour off for lunch. I took about 45 minutes of that hour. I wound up going back to work a little early. And then I worked just a little bit past 4:30. It was a good day. I'm so much happier being a worker bee. I tried to dip my toes in the management realm with my last job, although I didn't actually manage anybody. Heck, gosh, that would have been awful. I'm just not built for that. Nope. I am a worker bee, if there ever was one. Give me a widget, give me an assembly line, and set me to work with my widget and my assembly line, like Lucy at the chocolate factory. Was that what it was when she had the conveyor belt going by? Don't quite remember. One of my principles is the principle of nature, to recognize the nature of things so that I can abide them. That's my nature. I'm not a leader. It's not necessarily that I'm a follower. I certainly don't follow, well, I guess I do kind of. I follow the gentleman on my wall in terms of their their example. Emerson and Thoreau and their calls to independence and self-reliance. Johnson and his call to a well-lived, to a considered life. Carl Sagan and his suggestion to become comfortable with our uncertainty, to question. Christopher Hitchens up there, to brutal honesty, if not with others, then with ourselves. I guess I follow in that capacity. But I think it's because when I'm at work, work is just a job for me. It's not my identity. I'm not gonna chisel anything on my tombstone about my career. It's all about my life is about the other things, which is an irony, isn't it? Because it means that because I haven't climbed as high as I could, it means I'll have to work longer before I can afford a nicer retirement. So by not making, if I'd made work more of a centerpiece of my life, I might have to work less. But now, since I have not, I have to work more. Curious irony there. Goodness, what's that? Okay, let's start the good life. 7 objectives and 30 principles. First of all, I want to die leaving things in as good a state as I can. Namely, I want my wife to come up here to my little room and be able to find all the papers related to my last wishes, all of our financial documents, all of the passwords to all of our accounts, all that kind of stuff, and make sure there's as much money as possible everywhere so that she doesn't have to worry. Speaking of which, I need to augment my life insurance again. I let that one account expire. I need to do it again. Something to do. I also want to make sure that the ones that I love know that I love them, and that I think about. That's not it. Know that I love them. Know that I care. And finally, that my life's work is in order. My books, namely Going Alone. The other books are kind of window dressing around the edges. Going alone is the main story. Also want to be very careful with the use of my time. I don't want to sleep any more than I need to. Certainly don't want to work any more than I need to. I don't want to recreate any more than... Really? Yeah. Really? Fun should be good. I mean, it's fun. It depends on what's fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having fun. But I've got other things that I want to do. I don't, there's times that are things that are just filling time away. It's such a knee-jerk reaction to say, what a waste. Is it, though? If you're having fun, this whole concept of adding the principle of fun, it really changed my perspective in a way. I don't know, but I have to think more on that. Is that a good use of time? Watching reruns of Starsky and Hutch. If we enjoy it, why not? Ease up, Kurt. Next, I need to work every day on my principles and objectives to make sure that they're fit and sound and useful. I think you just witnessed me doing it, right? Working on figuring out what constitutes a good use of time. Here comes Rudy. Rudy! He must hear something. I've got the little window open in the back, and there's a golf course back there, and they come and mow the lawn in the pre-dawn hours. He must be hearing that back there. Or there's a ghost. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions. Emily said something last night at dinner that upset me. Details are not important. And I know Yumiko could tell it upset me. And so I elected to just not respond in the moment. And after just a little bit of silence, Yumiko looked at Emily and she said, your dad and I will talk about it. Good job. Thank you, Yumiko. And I knew that the appropriate way to handle what she had said was to give it time, to have a good emotional reaction. So I don't let my upset color my response, but instead to use I know when we'll talk today over our lunchtime walk to the dog park with the dogs. Yumiko and I will discuss what Emily said. And then we'll come up with a reasonable response and a uniform front. We'll both be on the same page. And then I'll be in a better position to, together with my wife, over dinner tonight, to give Emily the response that she asked for. So I want to do that more, and more and more and more, and always. I like the sound of that. Next, I want to have good actions, just doing good things throughout the day. And then to do just one thing at a time. No. To recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. What is really available for me to do and what is not. I could cite examples, but I know it is within our ability to go back to Japan again. It's not within our ability to do that within sooner than 2 years. I'd say 2 to 5 years. And every year we wait is better, although it's not. Because Yumiko and I are done. We're done with work. We don't want to do this anymore. We want to retire. So the longer, though, we wait to go to Japan means the longer we have to work. We certainly, retirement here in Southern California would be problematic at best, if not impossible. But retirement in Japan is doable, and maybe some other smaller places in the United States. But the longer we wait, the better it gets. But so anyway, true limits and true opportunity. Excuse me. At work, I know what my true limits are. I don't want to be a manager. I could do it. Like, I don't even want to be a supervisor. I want to. My true opportunity is to stay in the position that I'm in now for probably till I'm ready to retire. I want this to be the last job that I have to do. I'll probably work in retirement, but I'll do something that I want to do, like work at a 7-Eleven in Japan, or open a little coffee shop or a bar in Japan, or an Airbnb or something. And then lastly, the last objective is to just do one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly, to never multitask. Okay, those are my 7 objectives. Poorly pronounced, poorly proclaimed, but related nonetheless. Here are my 30 principles, likewise to be poorly proclaimed. It's funner when I don't state what they are and just talk about what they are. First of these is to always be fighting against anything that I think is true. I don't want to believe stuff that's not true. So I'm going to fight against the things that I want to think are true, or that are proposed to me that I should believe are true. Unless it's a nonsense fight. There was a guy that left a comment on one of my Instagram posts recently. There were two comments that I saw. Sometimes I respond. Usually I don't. Usually my position with social media is that what I put out there is my statement. People can respond. We got a nice 1 and 2, and the consumer of my content gets the last word. I'm not too interested in the ongoing engagement, so I move on. Volcanoes in the past, right? There was one comment where the person had clearly built a straw man response, and then begging me to fight. And I thought, I'm not even going to engage in that. So you're not even responding to the point that I made. You're responding to a point that's an issue for you, that you want someone to fight it with. The second one was a comment where there was an assumption made for a reason, and I decided I'm not going to respond to that one either, because it's not based on the fact. It's not based on the real reason why I did what I did. So just let that one go too. So that's where it's this war thing. I fight where it's a good fight. I fight where it seems like the person that I'm fighting with is listening and has a position that's of interest and important. And then I'll do it. But if it's just picking a fight for the sake of a pet issue that they want someone to battle with, and particularly an issue that may not be important to me, then you can go find someone else to spar with. Or if you lead off with assumptions about the position that I'm making, the position that I said, I'm not interested in engaging with people that are not listening or are filling in the coloring in the pages where they don't know what the colors really are. It's not a good use of time. I also want to use as my tools in this war reason, honesty, objectivity, and fierce skepticism. I want to remember that there's nothing eternal within me, within my constitution. My atoms and my energy are seemingly eternal, or at least the subatomic particles are, I guess. I'm probably someone that knows more about physics can challenge that, but you get the point, right? I'm not going to be much. I'm going to be lucky to be here in 20 summers. Another 20 summers. But the stuff that I'm made of will be around a long time. The energy that I'm consuming and utilizing will move and pass on through me. But nothing to last forever. And what's more, this thing that I do reckon as myself, my consciousness, is trapped within me. Just as much as a man or a woman on a sea stack, small rock sticking out in the ocean, the fierce sea all around. Even if the sea is calm, it's fierce, it's deep, it's dark, it's cold. Can't swim across, can't swim anywhere. And others are on their rocks. Hi, I love you. And while sitting on those rocks, I collect values and form of those principles and objectives to live by. These things are my own. Maybe I borrowed them from somebody else. Maybe some institution proposed them and I picked them up. But nevertheless, they're mine. These are my concepts of right and wrong, good and evil, if I like. And they are my own. No one else really. Others may hold them, but they don't exist outside of any of us. There's no evil in the empty desert, and there's no good between the stars. And my endeavor in life will be to continue my effort to raise my daughter into a good adult human being. And that includes Yumiko and I deciding how to respond to the things she said. Young people. And then working to be a virtuous human being, to improve the well-being, the happiness of myself and others. Excuse me, and then to share the whatever mission and message that I've come up with along the way, whatever boon and benefit has been yielded of these 6 decades, which is what I'm doing right now. And then to remember again that I'm made of little pieces, and those pieces are falling to pieces, and that everything has some nature. Like young adults have their nature. They say things. I remember saying things. I remember saying things to my father when I was Emily's age that I look back on now, and I never got a chance to reconcile. He died before I could say, wow, what was I thinking? So it's the nature of youth. Everything has some nature. Everyone has some nature. Every job has its nature. Every day has its nature in a way. I'm pretty sure that we don't have any free will. It's a very convincing illusion. We're just jostled around by the universe. I can't prove this, so therefore I won't do a good job of fighting to demonstrate it. If you challenge me, I won't run from the challenge. If you're challenging me, if you challenge me for what I am actually proposing, I'll yield and I'll proclaim faith, just like the faithful. And you'll be frustrated. You'd be like, Kurt, that's a nonsense position. I know. But sometimes you just can't help believe what you believe, even if it seems nonsense to others. I'm fortunate in that way, because now I can understand the faithful better. Hopefully I don't believe this, that free will is an illusion, as a means to avoid having to own my life. I just really think it's true. And I don't think I capitalize on that too much. It's not like I'm sitting at work and in a meeting saying, well, I'm just going to let it all go. It's all free will. No, I don't do that. I work hard. I try hard. And I recognize that my work hard and my try hard, every choice that I make is guided and pushed and jostled by all the circumstance around me. Want to do better by maturity's sake. I want to do better by maturity. That doesn't sound right. I want to be more mature, which means that I want to remember my successes and failures and to strive hard to not repeat the mistakes and capitalize on the successes. Make more good choices, fewer poor ones. I want to be a social man. I want to fraternize and be friendly, associate, etc. It's one of the reasons why I'm thinking that one of the things I might do in Japan is open a bar. Yumiko laughs when I tell her that. Snack kato. That's literally what I would call it. In Japan, a snack is like a small, tiny little bar. Oh, can you just imagine me, a little bar, one of those little hole in the walls. You walk in, you got like 6 or 8 benches at the thing, and I'll serve beer, and I'll have some sort of food. Maybe I'll make bean and cheese burritos for everybody. People will come in, and I'll speak Japanese and English or whatever they want to speak, because I'm a social man. And I'll serve beer and make you a burrito. I want to be very careful about how I speak, what I say, and the words that I choose, both the spoken and the written. I want to consume less, to be very careful about what I eat and drink, and how much I work, how much I play. Maybe I can have a little more play, as long as I'm doing my work. How much? Yeah, no temperance with reading. I can read all I want. I want to remember that there's so much bad stuff going on. Knots me inside. But I need to be aware. I need to be an adult. I need to be part of the solution. And to be a part of the solution, I need to understand the problem. Although it pains me, gosh, it hurts to see. There goes Rudy, charging down outside the door, going out the door. I can hear him. Gardeners must still be back there. There goes Ollie. Oh boy, they're barking outside. I gotta go get them. Just a sec. Well, that was exciting. Yeah, there was the groundskeepers for the golf course were right outside the backyard doing something. They were watering the greens. So the dogs didn't like that one bit. Good emotional reactions, guys. Well, I guess it's their nature, right? Ooh, see what I did there? Where was I? I guess it was, yeah, I did that. Oh, the Feast of Offal. To be very careful about how I react. Well, it's not really reacting when I get upset. It's not using the world as a venue to vent. That's what it's different from getting. It's different from not getting upset. It's deliberately choosing to manage my own upset. And then to not spend my life distracting myself from the things that I don't want to see, namely the apparent emptiness of the universe, the seeming aloneness of us, our species, the biology on this planet, seemingly being so far the only living things in the universe, with absolutely no evidence, no good evidence of oversight and agency, keeping tabs on us, judging us, guiding us, rewarding us or punishing us. I've lost my place. To be all right where I am, who I am, and what I am. To move forward into new life and new chapters. To attend to not only the normal challenges of life, of creating a home and a family, and security and love, but also to attend to the, if I feel it, to the desire to discover more about myself and to create my own identity and story. To not gossip, to not believe things too readily, to not lie unnecessarily. I mean, there could be reasons, good reasons to lie, right? I mean, the Nazis are banging on the door. Where's Anne Frank? She's not here. She's in the basement. To not be overly impressed by dogma or tradition or authority. And to never gossip. To remember that there's nothing beyond death, apparently. There's no reason to think that we're going to live after death. We won't see our loved ones again. There won't be any heaven or hell. We won't have a chance to make amends. And there'll be no justice beyond death. To have at least one or more great life adventures in my course of my living. Little experiences and stories and adventures too. This is the centerpiece of my living. To be prepared to write down whatever words come as a consequence of my life. I've got my journal open. I write when they come. To remember that though I strive to hit the mark, I usually miss. And that life is a climb. And if you stop for long, it's hard to get started again. And you lose momentum and time. To have my principles always at the ready, to help me towards my objectives. To strive to get by with less. And finally, to have fun. To remember to have fun. It's not all work and striving. There you go. That's my good life creed. Now, for the coming day, let's going to be a pretty good day, I think. Like I said, I've kind of got past the more challenging issues. More routine stuff today. More routine stuff, not more routine stuff, but more routine stuff. I'll finish this. I'll have to a little more complex with the video because I have to take two bits and render them together before I upload it. And while I do that, then I'll read my Bible, write my journal. Then I will, maybe I'll do my yoga, my 20 minutes of yoga before I go downstairs and have breakfast. Yesterday I did my yoga after breakfast, which was problematic for the stretching. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Be safe, but not too safe.